Let's roll. Line 2. Hi, Tony, around the air.
How are you this morning, Daddy?
Not bad, you?
Not bad at all. Yes, first of all, I'd like to answer his question. Mr. Barry, and to me, it doesn't matter if it's a one-horse race or a 10-horse race. It doesn't really matter. It didn't work for the Liberals when they were in.
It does matter. It matters an enormous amount.
Not when you got somebody inside. You had Roger Grimes there. First you had Beaton Talk, never done nothing. Roger Grimes never done nothing since the last election. They're all inside. You got Jerry Reid who was there. You had Jim Bennett who was there. They phoned up and kicked him out after a few weeks. Then Jerry Reid took over again. Then you had Evan Jones. Then you had on and on.
So are you telling me because other parties have done one thing or another that you don't approve of, that it makes it all right for the Tories to have an unelected premier facing no vote of any consequence or sort until he becomes the leader of the province? You think that's okay?
Well, to me, they had to vote, but the point of the matter is that they destroyed themselves by Bill Barry coming out and then criticizing and basically said they were too stupid to even know what they were doing in there. Did he think he was going to score points by doing that?
Obviously, he has reflected on it and said that he knows it was a self-inflicted wound and he shouldn't have done it. So,
exactly.
I mean, these are questions for others, not for me, what Bill Barry says or thinks. But, I mean, don't you think that the overwhelming number of people in the province are not comfortable with the process as it's shaping up? I mean, we've had the distraction of Wayne Bennett and his comments and his removal from the race. Mr. Barry drops out. Mr. Coleman now has to answer some very important questions. So the focus is not on what the Tories might do for you in the future, because we don't know. And we're talking about everything but public policy. This is a huge problem for the Tories, and everybody knows it, man. We want people to be contested. We want you to win an election to be the Premier and to be a member of the House of Assembly.
That's only a handful of people out there. Like the Liberals want this contested so they can get out some whatever. I have no idea. But when you talk about Wayne Bennett, he ran for the PC party. Wayne Bennett ran for the PC party and criticized them. They were everything under the sun, and he'd done everything to try to get kicked off the team by even, racial remarks. And he, to me, he done everything he could to make himself look bad, to get kicked off. And then he supported Sheila O'Leary, so the NDP, so he knew if things had to work the way it was going to, nobody was going to support Wayne Bennett. And I guess he figured nobody would support everybody he favored. So if he favored Sheila O'Leary and supported the PCs, well, the Liberals went up, so he figured, I guess, the Liberals walk up without looking.
Don't you think it would have been better for the PCs to have a race for the leadership, hotly contested, a delegated convention or an all-inclusive like the Liberals, where there's some momentum to be gained? We're not talking about the fixes in or the coronation of one person, an unelected premier, doesn't have a seat in the House. Don't you think it would have been better for the party in their hope to be renewed and to have a new focus and to, continue on with this, what they say, they're listening to the people? Don't you think it would have been in their best interest, or is this their best interest? Controversy, side stories, don't know Coleman, unelected, so you think this is better than actually some momentum and an actual challenge to people's need and want and right to be the Premier?
No, the challenge would be good, yes, but at the same time, you only can do what you can do, and he's going to go around anyway, like he was running for leadership. He's going to go around the same as he's done before. He's going to meet all the people on the aisle, and people will know him before all this is over. The same thing with Danny Williams when he ran. He was uncontested, outside the party. He got the same criticism, and he was the best premier we've ever had. And Mr. Coleman, as you can see by the remarks and then the personal attacks, everything on him already, they know he's a good leader. They know he's going to be.
How does anybody know he's a good leader, Tony? What are you talking about?
Because you got the Liberals who's attacking every little thing he does. I mean, and then they're coming out and attacking Danny because, I hear somebody phone in last week, Danny should go away.
What?
I mean, he should go away. And he was like Hitler and all this. That's kind of foolishness.
Yeah, but we can sift through all that crap, right? I mean, I don't fall for any of that, and I don't think the vast majority of listeners fall for it either. But the attacks on Mr. Coleman, sure he hasn't. What attacks? Look, what are you talking about?
The point of the matter is, they come out now, you're talking.
No, the point of the matter is you said he's been attacked. Attacked for what?
Yeah, but they're just this thing about now supporting or the the rights.
You don't think this is an important issue? You don't think people are going to consider this when they decide whether or not they're going to vote for Mr. Coleman?
Everybody got their own beliefs. If you believe in it or if you don't believe in it, everybody got their own beliefs.
For someone who's in tune politically or watches it anyway, let me say, you don't think that this is an issue that will affect the minds of voters potentially? And that's all politics is will.
No, I don't think it will.
It won't. It's a non-issue.
Religion. If I'm Catholic or if you're Protestant or whatever, sure, what had that got to do if you're running for leadership? It doesn't matter one bit. You got your beliefs and other people got other beliefs. As long as you don't shove it down somebody's throat.
I don't begrudge the man his beliefs, but there's, once again, how can you have things both ways here? This is where I think it's unfortunate that political conversation has to go sometimes. But if you protest in a pro-life march, that is de facto imposing your beliefs on others, and especially when it flies in the face of the law of the land. Mr. Coleman might be a reverend, accomplished, peaceful, rational, moderate human being, but this particular stance does not jive with those qualities necessarily. To ask him about this is not unfair. It's what people expect. They want to know what he stands for. They want to know what he will do. They want to know how his personal beliefs may affect policy decision making, and that's legitimate. This is not demonizing the man. I'm not attacking him for his position. I don't think it's fair. I won't do it, and I'm not going to let many people attack him on air for it, because it is just a little bit too insane for my liking. But we have to ask the relevant questions of our officials, and especially a man who will not be contested in his role as premier.
But what I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with asking the question. What I'm saying is that people are trying to get this, make this a big thing out of nothing. And ask, yes, fine, Daniel, again, he answered already on NTV when he was saying about how he was not going to push his beliefs on anybody else. Everybody got their own beliefs and things, but he's not going to push this on anybody else or anybody, and that's the only way you can answer it. Because the ways with the Liberals right now, they're saying about how the Liberals are going up. The last polls that came out, the Liberals was way down. So to me, when you had Tom Marshall was the 49% leader, which was, like in a matter of months come up, it goes to show the leadership of the Liberal Party, how weak it is. So they couldn't, this is why the Liberals are frightened to death because they got nothing on the other side. I mean, I never heard anything about, like, with Dwight Ball. I mean, when they brought out they were going to borrow $1 billion, the PCs were for bringing this policy for free education for university students. And they
didn't borrow $1 billion for free education for university students. They moved the provincial student loan to a grant-based system. It's peanuts of money. Peanuts.
The government got to pay for it. It's going to cost about $50 million.
Yeah, peanuts.
Kindergarten, you got the free kindergarten. Mr. Dwight Ball came out and said, you shouldn't have brought that right now.
It's only a commitment for after the election. It's also a very tricky piece of politics. But they are talking about a big, important school and social policy that won't be enacted or implemented until after the next general election. It's a reasonable question. Once again, it's fine to promise something like the Cornerbrook Hospital. If you don't execute and deliver, people will rightfully ask questions about your next promise. It's how it goes, Tony. I can't believe some of the things you say sometimes. I don't care who cheers for who or supports who or what religion, race, or creed they are. But their positions on issues, if I feel like challenging, I will, and I don't mind challenging you. And I think some of the things you say about the Tories' platitudes and/or why we should revere and/or vote for them, sometimes are so very hollow, hyper-partisan that I don't think you do your party any favor sometimes. Well, just like the Liberals who go haywire about stuff, they don't help their party.
But Paddy, if you come out and say you don't want, this is not the time to go borrowing money, that means there's going to be $1 billion cut out of your budget. That means there's something got to be cut. $1 billion is a lot of money. So
why
didn't he have the answer to this? Why didn't he have the answer to it? Like, why didn't he have to say, well, boy, like this is...
I asked him.
He got the answer.
I asked them, and I tell you what, I'm going to treat the rest of them the exact same way. They'll all answer the questions, or if they offer an answer that we don't agree with or think is hollow, vague, or disingenuous, people can judge for themselves. Same way we asked Mr. Cohen about these issues, I have no choice now but to ask Mr. Ball and Miss Michael about the same thing. If we're going to make it important for Coleman, we're going to make it important for all of them. And that's one bit of fairness I have no problem in executing.
And the same thing with, it comes out talking about like you can't spend any more money in healthcare. And yet they're coming out then all of a sudden on the other side, they're going to spend millions of dollars in this and spend millions of dollars in that, but yet they're coming out on the other side and saying we can't spend any more money in healthcare, we're kept out. And they're getting to get up in the House of Assembly, Eddie Joyce up there, and he was saying criticizing government for hiring so many government employees, but nothing again. Once again, the media media's in there in the House. They never ever brings it out.
You must be joking. You've got to be joking, Tony. You don't think that I've called out the Liberals?
No, I'm not talking about you, Paddy. I'm talking about the people, like the journalists that's in the House, like on NTV and that.
I think they do a good job. I think Connors and Cochran and McLeod and some of the other key people that are covering politics are doing a top quality job. We have a different role here on this show. I get to editorialize. I get to offer my opinion. I get to debate people's positions. That's what we do here. So I'm not going to compare what we do to those other fine gentlemen and women who are covering politics in the province, are Danielle Byrne, Linda Swain, and others, Fred Hutton, best in the business. But we will do what we do on this show. And when I see something come across as hyper-partisan foolishness, I'll call it out like I see it.
Well, I'm not heard. I mean, I heard Pete now asked, what's his name? He was an NDP one time. Now he's over as a Liberal.
Yes, so what?
Kirby asked Kirby about the all-day kindergarten. He said, which one would you pick, the all-day kindergarten or this other project? And he was saying he couldn't answer. He could not answer.
They'll be held accountable on the campaign trail, Tony. That's how it goes. When you're in opposition, your role is clear. When we campaign, nobody will get to make false promises without being challenged on the capacity to deliver, where the money comes from, their costed policies, all that stuff will be part of the conversation. You can count on it. I got to go to the break. I'm late, but Tony, I'm glad you called.
I love having a debate with you, Paddy.
Anytime.
You're great.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye.